Lord. Hallelujah. And thank you, Jesus. It's around that time right here on KAZ Radio where one of my most favorite shows, none other than Dead, We're Incarcerated Too. Take it away, Raquel.
Hi, everyone. I am here with my sisters today. We actually have our older sister here with us. Hi,
Hey,
Queen.
Hey.
So, I am Raquel. I'm actually the second oldest daughter.
I'm Jamila, the middle.
And I'm Aaliyah, the youngest. So today, I guess, bringing in Kui, we can kind of just talk about our process and like maybe where we left off at last time. So last time we were here, we were, talking about healing and forgiveness and like what the whole process was like, growing up without our dad. And I know that one of the things we were talking about, what we ended off with was that first, children's, their voices matter. And, it's important that the parents listen to their children, regardless of what it is they have to say. And, that they're important, basically. And I know when we had went to Grafton to talk, one of the things that was mentioned was having that protection there for your father, and talking about what things would have been like had he have been there. So, Kui, what do you feel like? Do you think like things maybe would have been different for you if our dad was there, or like what was your process with all of this?
Well, I'm not sure about the whole difference aspect of it because it all depends on the parent, how the kid is going to be raised and this, that, and the third. Again, I I wouldn't know. You know what I'm saying? Would it be a good situation or a bad situation or in between? Like I said, it all depends on the parent and how the parent is going to direct you in your life and how it's going to go. So ultimately, how they prepare their lives, how they decide they want to live, is going to determine how we live.
Right.
You
Yes.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know about that. I don't know what in what circumstance would he have been in? You know what I'm saying? Would he still be making the same choices he made? You know what I'm saying? And then with those choices, how would I have turned out? You
Right.
know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy because it just made me think like how it'd be like everything happened for a reason, and even though things happened the way they did, I wouldn't say it was like the best or what or but um, it's crazy because we wouldn't have even turned out like this had we had them
Yeah.
like would
Yeah.
it have been great based on who he was back then, like what Quee's saying, like with what was going on in his world, because he hadn't even had his healing yet.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
And his decisions may have altered the way we grew up. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Yep.
And I think we all turned out, good. Everybody got their own, whatever issues or whatnot, but that's just life.
Yeah.
But his issues and him dealing with his personal demons would have transferred on us,
Yeah.
period.
Right.
Yes.
Because what you do always reflects on your children.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
That is
Okay.
so true.
Never looked at it from that point of view.
I know,
Me
right?
either. Right, right. Like, what kind of space would he have been in? I mean, because now, he's gotten to a point where he's like doing his healing and he's on that journey. And, so we get to see that part of him. But he wasn't in that space before. So yeah, it probably would have definitely been different if we had him at that point in time. I'm not sure if that would have been a good. Yeah, I'm not sure if that would have been a good or a bad thing. Like what we said, I actually never thought about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then with our kids, the trickle effect.
And
The
that's
generational thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what this is basically all about. Trying to stop those generational curses. And
Yep.
I guess it is, God moves how he moves for a reason. I'm just a little stuck up because I never thought about what our lives will be like, how we have grown up with our parent in our lives. And I think that a lot of times as children, we don't focus on that because at the time, it's like, who cares? He wasn't there. But when you think about it in retrospect, God protected me from things seen and unseen. We don't know what we could have been saved from.
Dang.
That's so true, right?
That's the fact. And, furthermore, God blessed us with strong-willed mothers
Yes.
who never gave up on us or never gave up on the situation.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So that's a lot right there.
Yeah.
That's a lot right there.
Yes, the strength that it took them to keep on going and raise us good.
Right.
Like, wow.
That's a lot.
It really is. And it make you think like, and now with everything that we're doing to heal, we would have needed him to be in this space to be trying to work on ourselves and who we are now. He would have had to go through whatever he did, and not be in our lives for everything to even work out the way it did.
Yeah, pretty much.
So,
I gotta sit back on that one. Like, hold on, wait, wow.
so back to the healing aspect. I lost my train of thought. But what are some things that you guys have done to help heal from the absence of a parent? Well, I can say that
I
still
can't
working on it.
I can't really, because I had a father.
Right.
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? I had somebody that raised me, from 5 years old up, and I thank God for him because he took on somebody else's responsibility. But in the back of my mind, once I found out about Daryl, it was like kind of like, well, damn, he ain't want me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that is what always stuck with me, that in the back of my mind. And it still did. I ain't gonna lie, all the way up until, my 30s. I'll be 40 this year. So, it was just like, well, what happened? And sometimes you just gotta let stuff go. I'm in the process of just, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And God don't make no mistakes. But it took me a very, very long time to get to the place that I am right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think when I found out that I had sisters, it brightened my life, but it also made me sad because I think I had to be about maybe 13, 14 when I found out about y'all.
Yeah.
I believe. I'm already a teenager,
Yeah.
and I missed out on y'all being born, us having a relationship, and then it stemmed from there. Like, I'm still only a child, so I can't, go back and forth or try to develop a relationship with my sisters because they not right here by me.
Right.
And I don't feel like that's my fault. I don't feel like that's y'all fault. Grown-ups have the responsibility of making sure their kids is good. So I feel like that could have been more on our parents. But that stuff it still makes me feel a certain way today because I could have had a better relationship with y'all, and I feel like I was robbed of that. You know what I'm saying? So that still pierces me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Aw.
Yeah, I feel this. Oh, I'm sorry. You want to?
I think we feel the same way.
Yeah, I do.
Because, like,
And that's a part of the healing for me too. That part, feeling like what could have been and what we might have missed out on, what we actually did miss out on, and then also learning how to come back and have a relationship now and not focus on the things that we did lose.
Yeah,
And that part is tough
Yep.
in the healing journey.
Yeah.
it is. And I'm gonna tell you something. I actually had to talk about it with my mentor because I felt like I could have used a big sister. Like, you know, it's a struggle being the oldest. As I know, you know, Queen. It's like, who else do you have? I know, you know, we have our parents and things like that. But it was like, as the oldest, sometimes everything get put on your shoulders, unintentionally or intentionally.
All the time.
Yeah, and it's like, I was feeling like, dang, like sometimes I want to be able to go to somebody too. Like, so I completely,
Yep.
I completely understand that. Like, like, dang, I'm about to cry.
And then it's like even though I told y'all, you know, my door is always open, you got my number, whatever, I think y'all was a little hesitant to, you know, try to come to me with certain issues and then because you ain't know me like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I feel like, you know, it hurts the most because I'm like, well, damn, you know, I'm the oldest, I got responsibilities. When I tell y'all, I have everybody putting their responsibilities on me, so I'm used to it. So I feel like y'all kind of drew back. You like, I don't know how she rocking for real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So and we was in and out of each other's lives, so that made it, you know, a little difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But everything happens for a reason. You know, I don't regret anything. I'm just glad I'm here and y'all can get in touch with me anytime y'all want to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And my main thing for moving forward is to make sure our kids never be in the positions that we were in. Our kids need to know each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they first cousins.
Right.
that's a big thing. They need to know each other.
Yeah.
They need to know stability. You know what I'm saying? And anybody that's in their lives, they staying in their lives. They know they ain't going nowhere.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's a big thing for me.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. That's we all been feeling the same way.
Yeah.
Like I definitely, you know, was like, I don't really know what to say to you, and also like, but I want to be around my sister. Like when I don't even remember how old we were well, at least how old I was when I found out about you. But it's always been a thing. Like I have another sister. You know, it's always been that. Like it's not just the three of us. We have another one. We have another sister. You know, so I think that no regrets, but it's like, it's just really unfortunate the way, sometimes, at least right now, what I'm thinking is that sometimes it's unfortunate the way that things happen, because maybe if, you know, our dad was there, you know, we would have had a relationship with one another.
Yeah.
Just maybe. But it's those what ifs, right, that kind of throws me off too. You know, thinking about what things could have been like had that stability been there from the beginning, you know. That sucks.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say this. A part of my healing, I know, is to get out and be more active in building relationships with my close and loved ones. You know, I think moving forward, I need to work on that because, you know, like the trust issues that you have, sometimes it's hard to get out of old habits and not make that phone call or not send that text or, you know, and it's like, I know that's one of the things that be holding me back because I could have tried to call you so many times and see, you know, like, so yeah, this just got me thinking.
I think it's more of a being familiar.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, once you haven't been doing that,
Yeah.
you know, you're not familiar with doing that. You know, it doesn't come easy. Like, I was telling my mom, I said I would love to have a relationship with my baby sisters just like I got with, Jazz.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And Joy, she in her own world, but and EJ, but they y'all all my babies. Like I used to walk around with y'all pictures all the time, like just walking around with her, So I think it's just not being familiar,
Yeah.
and growing up in separate households,
Yeah, definitely.
and
Yeah.
but we still live, we still here, we still moving, we still breathing. So, now is the time to change. And it's always about taking a step further. And it's not an easy process,
Yeah.
coming out of yourself. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yeah,
Doing the
definitely.
unfamiliar.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's just not. So, everybody can make the initiative to do better.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree.
Yes.
I want to point out something though to the people who are watching that this is another dynamic of Dad, we're incarcerated too. Like we have another sister who was affected by my dad's absence as well, and in her own way. And I'm saying that to say that there's so many different dynamics, that goes with having a parent not in a family. So I'm actually happy that we get the chance to show this side of it as well. What this looks like, being able to talk with our older sister. I think this is really great.
So, Dad, do you think that things would have been different had you been in our lives based on who you were back then?
I think this is very interesting, very, very, very interesting, very real scenario. I'm glad that you brought up, Aaliyah, about this being another part of being incarcerated. This goes to talk about that incarceration is never about the physical place. You know what I mean? Right. Going to the institution. You become institutionalized in your own home and don't even know that you're incarcerated. You know what I'm saying? And to answer your question, I think had I been in my right mind, had I been in a place where I understood what love was, you know what I mean? Had I been in a place where I loved myself, you know what I mean? Then I could have given out what I possessed. You know what I mean? For me. And I'm under the persuasion that you can't give what you don't possess for yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, like, how could I love you all? How could I love Marquila, Raquel, Jamila, and Aaliyah when there was no real, genuine love for myself? And because of that, you become selfish and self-centered. You begin to think that, well, the world evolves around you. You know what I mean? And it's this idea that you're the father. Everybody should be coming to you anyway. You know what I mean? So you set that scenario up in your head, and you don't take responsibility for who you are and what you represented to your children. And I have to take full responsibility, Marquila, for not being the man, the father, even the human being, to make sure that these things happened. You know what I mean? Because I'm wrapped up in my own feelings. I'm wrapped up in my own self. I'm wrapped up in my own scenarios. You know what I mean? I'm pimp playing in baby land. I'm trying to live that life. You know what I mean? I'm trying to live, I'm trying to live that religious life. You know what I mean? And it all clashed, So, I mean, on everything, man, right? I mean, I feel really touched and very moved. You know what I mean? I'm battling. I feel like I'm battling, like, because one, there's the happiness and the joy that I have all 4 of my children on deck, in this place. But the other part of that is the absenteeism. You know what I mean? And the pain that part caused, and the dissension, the division. And we don't realize that, and this just takes me back to the conversation that we had, Raquel, when I was in prison, when you said emphatically, Dad, we incarcerated too. And I never could understand that, but now I'm sitting here with you all, and I'm really beginning to see it even on a whole nother level, of what that incarceration, was all about. You know what I mean? What it's all about. And then even Marquita, from your standpoint, you know what I mean? Even though you had a great man in your life, to raise you and give you the things that I did not. At the same time, I have to take responsibility, for not bringing you all together and being the man, the role model, that I needed to be. And I'm not trying to relive my past, but because my past was the direct part of what's taking place, of what had taken place, I have to address that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As a man, I'm a man today. I can't say I was a man back then. You know what I mean? I don't know who the hell I was back then, man. I was in search of, for real. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I think that, I believe things would have been different had all of those 3 things been in place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. But y'all got tears in your eyes. And, you know what I mean? And your eyes all red and glossy and whatnot. But yeah, so I can appreciate, the conversation. The healing part, though.
Yeah.
I think that one of the things that as a father, and I'm always trying to push this, and that is, I don't want it to be a time where something happens to me and that brings you all together. You know what I mean? Like that shouldn't be the wherewithal in terms of how you all, build your bond. It shouldn't be an accident. It shouldn't be death. It shouldn't be any of those things, to bring us together. I'm gonna put it out here. I'm dealing with a situation right now with my siblings over, this probate thing, man. And it's just, the messages that I've been getting today, it's just it's crazy. It's bananas. And you never know how people really think and feel about you until something of this magnitude happens, right? That's not what I desire for you all, though. You know what I mean? I want y'all to build a bond, build a relationship, whether I'm here or not here. You all owe it to yourselves. You know what I mean? And because I love Daryl today, I can truly say that I love all of my children. You know what I mean? And my goal is to be the best father, the best man, the best human that I could possibly be.
Well, that was
a good answer.
That was a long answer, right? That was my preacher's hat on.
But I think this was an important conversation. These are the conversations that Dad, We're Incarcerated is about. Showing people how to have these conversations.
Yeah.
That was a lot to take in. And learning what is part of the healing process. And some of the things you touched on was accountability, not just for yourself and how your life turned out, but for us and how our life turned out. And that responsibility and also that acknowledgement of, if I was in this right place, things would have went better, but also I wasn't, and I acknowledged that. and y'all didn't deserve that. But this is where we at now, and how can we all come together and be better?
Yeah.
And having these important conversations, they be tough, they be intense, but it's all worth it. Because our goal is like what you said, to have a bond. And I want that. I know that we all want that.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. You know, I never actually really been lost for words on a podcast, but I feel like,
True.
wow. Yeah.
But each one of you all brings something different, to the table. Each one of you all are your own unique selves. Y'all all look alike. Too.
I know.
Y'all just crazy, don't they? Y'all just look alike, and from the oldest to the youngest, and you have a quality about yourself. You have a message through the mess that other young ladies and young men need to know.
Right.
The pain, the struggle. These are things that we don't talk about. We talk about it when it's too late. You know what I mean? Something, happens. You know what I mean? And then now we want to have a discussion about it. No. This is therapy.
Yeah.
This is very therapeutic because it causes you to go inside of yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you look at me, you can see a reflection of yourself because each one of you all are a part of me, right? But in my absence, right, there was a piece that was dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was dead. But now that I'm here, my goal is to bring to life that which was dead. There's a scripture in the Bible, I think it's in Ezekiel, that said, can these dead bones live? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The dead bones can live, man. Start putting that flesh and sinew on there, and the right bone connected to the ankle bone, and the ankle bone connected to that part.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that we talked about, which I was talking about in the beginning, what we talked about at Grafton, was still having like that residue left over. Even though like we're in this space where, we've done some healing and, we're talking about it, we're, spreading our message and everything, there's still that residue of the absence that still, is in play. And for me, that residue has a lot to do with my self-love, right? It's still a struggle, and I still have, some abandonment issues that I'm really trying to deal with, and boundary issues. But I think that all stems from the self-love aspect. And like what we were talking about earlier, what our lives would have been like had you have been in your right mind and, had you have, been able to give us that love. I think I said this at Grafton too. I think that things definitely would have turned out different for me. I probably never would have ended up in my last relationship or had any of these different type of things happen to me, because I would have had a man present to tell me, this is what you need to look out for. No, you're not doing that. No. You know what I mean? Like I needed that stern no, like no. And this is what it's supposed to look like. So that residue for me is the like abandonment issues and the self-love, having a really hard time of letting things go that no longer serve me, because of the comfortability aspect, not one, the comfortability aspect, and
The fear.
Yes, it's a lot of fear that goes into that. Yeah, and not knowing what the other side looks like, the unknown. So that's a part of my residue. That's still a part of my healing that I have to do.
So what does self-love look like for you?
I'm still trying to figure it out. That's another thing.
But if you had to paint a picture of what that looks like, what would that look like?
Oh man, what would self-love look like for me? That I would seek less validation, that I would have boundaries established, that I'm not only established, that I'm able to maintain, you know, that I would be more assertive, and that, you know, I walk with my head held high with confidence, high self-esteem, you know, being able to let things go that no longer serves me, not getting down on myself as much, because, you know, humans do that. That's just a human thing, right? Not getting down on myself as much when there's something I said I was going to do or I didn't do it, or if something didn't work out this certain kind of way, you know, not labeling myself as this horrible person. Just having like, it's really like having a balance between my mental and my emotional, not letting my emotional overwhelm my mental.
And so the reason why I brought that up, because I think that you said something that which is so powerful. So if you look at your life right now, right? You're educated, you get ready to graduate with a master's degree, you've made a lot of accomplishments. But listen to this, but you're still incarcerated.
Yeah.
So when does the accomplishments begin to supersede the failure, or what you deem to be failure, or what you deem to have a lack thereof? Because to me, it seems like you're not transferring the ability and the self-confidence that you have to succeed in this area while you allow this area to still run amok. Because if you look at, you can graduate master's degree summa cum laude, right?
Yeah.
Well, how much effort did that take? And how much confidence did that take? And how much studying and how much letting go of other extracurricular activities to be able to assume your position?
So what's holding you back from taking in all of your accomplishments?
Right.
Because this is what I talk about when I really regret not being there, because baby, you are everything. You are absolutely everything,
Oh
and you've shown that you are everything. You have accomplished so much. And it starts today when you start to realize that. Because you've done everything and you still going. And you still here. Do you understand that? Stop. No more of that coming down on yourself, because you're amazing. You've shown that you're amazing, and you're going to embrace your amazingness. It's not even a word, but you're going to embrace it. You understand me?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm being serious.
I know. It's interesting because you know, I don't know why it's so hard for me to connect these things that I'm doing to and relate them to my personal growth. I kind of separate them, like the career and the career success and the personal success.
Isn't that you? Which part of that is not you? Is there another Leah somewhere that we need to find?
I don't know.
Another Leah. Let me find where she at. Are you able to separate? Because I sure like to do that. Separate myself.
Yeah, that's a good, wow.
Yeah.
I actually didn't think about it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess.
Wait, you don't know if that's you? What is it that you don't know?
No, I know that it's me.
Okay.
When I say I separated, it's more, I feel like, you know, I still have some things inside of me that I need healing from, period. Okay. And that's where that, you know, abandonment comes through. That's where that lack of self-confidence and all of that comes through, because I'm still lacking in the area of self-love.
Okay, so let me ask you this question then. And this is where I want to turn it up a notch. You alluded to the fact that your abandonment came from the lack thereof of time with your father, right?
Yeah.
So look me in my eyes. I'm a grown man now. You know, I can take it. And tell me what it is that you need from me. Since your abandonment issues and the things and your lack thereof, wow, this is crazy. Wow, is an indirect result of my abandoning you, right? The question really is, how can I help to heal you? And you don't have to answer that right now, but I wanted to throw that out there to you because what I want you all to understand, I'm getting all messed up now, is that
okay.
I'm here. I've been out of prison for 12 years. And I ain't gone nowhere. When I first came home, Marquila brought Imani and the baby boy over to the house. You remember that, Queen?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
we were sitting on the couch, and this is where I lacked. And she said to me, I need you to promise me that you're not going back to jail. And I looked her in her eyes and said, I'm not going back. 6 months later, I went back to jail. And it put her in a tailspin. I know that it did because she wasn't the same. Her responses, we were having real conversations. She was telling me about this was going on. This was, really father and daughter type stuff. She was putting it on me. And I failed. I went back to jail. But it was during that time period, and this is probably something that you don't know, but it was during that time period that I was going up, and they do what they call an assessment. It began with a P. I can't remember what it is though. And the guy, as I was sitting there behind the window, now this guy was running me through this assessment, and and he was asking me all these questions, and with tears in my eyes, I said, I don't want my life, I don't want what was passed down to me to be passed down to my grandson. Because my father was incarcerated, his father, my sister, my cousins. So incarceration has always been part of the equation. But it was at that point I was remembering sitting on the couch with you and Imani and my grandson, holding my grandson. It was in that, and I broke down in front of all of these people and said, I do not want this to show up in my grandson. And my life changed at that point, and I ain't been back. That was one of the motivating factors, you know what I mean, for me. So as I stepped out of that and I stepped into this, that presents the question, right? Mm-hmm. What can I do to help heal? And that's just not just for you, but that's for each of you all. If there's something in your life that you can attribute to my absence, you know what I mean, and all the things that I did not do, then my question is, how can I help to heal you? How can I help? And I don't, and of course you all won't, I don't want you to be afraid to be able to share whichever way it comes. We understand that, don't we?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We got to tell you about that, Queen. So that's part of that, and I'm saying that live because I need other fathers to assume the position. you know, whatever we caused, excuse me, if we're in a place now to help heal, that's where we need to be. Don't let me do all the talking.
I'm the words.
I think that is a very great question.
Yeah,
That
thinking.
that we could probably answer next week.
Right.
But I do think that is a great question for our audience because we haven't talked about that yet. You know, the parents putting themselves out there and actually saying, in this place that we're in now, how can I help you heal? What do you need from me as your parents? How can I help you deal with that? And stuff like that. So that is very important on this healing journey that we're trying to be on, that we are on. I am so thankful that Quee's on here today to join us.
Yes.
We got a lot of info. Well, how are y'all feeling after his whole spiel?
It's just crazy because it just something just came to like thinking about what he was just saying, like, you know, with
Well, first of all, who is he?
I'm sorry, with that.
I'm looking for he. Who is he now?
You know, when you told Aaliyah she was still incarcerated, I was trying to think about all of my things. I don't like the way that sounds. But that's that self-doubt.
Right.
But it just reminded me of my own incarceration, in which I still don't ask for help. And it's like, you right here. And it's like, wow, just like a light bulb just went off in my head. Like, I'm still trying to do it all by myself. And it's like, I keep going forward, and then hitting these brick walls and keep wondering, like, what's going on? You know, and it's like, I don't even know. That question just tripped me out.
I think that plays a part in that lack of stability that we had from an absent parent. That lack of trust comes with that uneasiness, like the uncomfortableness. I know I can do it, though. I don't want to ask nobody because I'm not even used to having to do that.
And then you ask, and then it's all the letdowns. It's just all the stuff, but it's like, how long am I going to hold on to that and keep separating? Like Aaliyah said, like, everything is like, it's all me, though. It's all me. I am all of these people, and why do I still stay incarcerated when I can just get out?
That's interesting.
But
yeah.
do you want to get out?
That's the $1 million question. Apparently, I like my habit.
Comfortability thing, like
Right.
It's your normal. You know, it's like that's something that you used to, and it's difficult to think about what it's going to look like on the other side if you assume all of who you actually are. And I know for me, like you were talking about, you know, doing things all on your own and everything, afraid to ask for help. And I think, at least for me, you know, growing up in a single parent household with a mother who, you know, was doing it all by herself, she really enforced independence. Period. You get it. You're going to get it. You know, you're going to. There's no excuse. You know what I mean? You're gonna. This is what you have to do. You know, but that also comes from her trauma, not having a dad, and then so on and so forth. Right. So all of these different things are being passed down, generation and generation. So it just is difficult. I mean, it can really be difficult. Yeah. Wow.
I've been there too. I'm actually still at that place because I still feel like I used to feel like you know, with everything that was going on with Daryl, and I felt like, okay, he didn't want me and I'm not good enough. So every situation that I came across, even though I had somebody that, you know, was there, he still wasn't biologically mine. You know what I'm saying? And I always felt in the back of my mind, oh, I gotta do more. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I'm a very, very, very strong person. And because I'm the oldest, I always feel like somebody's looking at me. So I'm very hard on myself. Extremely hard on myself. Y'all have absolutely no Yeah, I go through a lot, but I have to be strong for a reason. I'm strong enough to let other people lean on me, but and it just took me maybe a couple years ago to say, hey, Maquila, you are good enough. It's okay.
Yeah.
And you're a human.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, it's like you said, it's being comfortable, being in certain situations for so long,
Yeah.
you're bound to act, it's hard to get out of that.
Yeah.
Right.
It's hard.
It really is.
And even my mom don't even know anything I'm telling y'all right now. she didn't know that I was feeling, this way. My dad didn't know I was feeling this way. So, a lot of stuff I dealt with myself. I got over myself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I did it all
Yeah.
myself. So other people can lean on me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think hearing y'all, it didn't resonate with me until maybe I would say maybe a year ago. I don't know if it was Aaliyah that told me like, yeah, Queen, he wasn't there for us either. And I never thought about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking like, oh, he had a relationship with y'all and da 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 da.
Yeah.
Nah, he wasn't there for y'all either. You know what I'm saying? So it really I didn't think about it like that, to be honest with you. So that made me feel even more terrible that I wasn't there for y'all. So it's all life lessons. And I feel like we all have the same thing going on. You know what I'm saying? And we need to branch out of that. We need to come together and talk more. Let that stuff out. Don't let it sit in. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you needed an older sister. I'm here. I'm an open book. You can always come to me and talk to me. And it's maybe some stuff that I need to let out on you that I can't tell anybody else, because they wouldn't understand.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So life lessons, we learning.
Let the bonding begin.
Right. I'm definitely moving to Georgia, y'all. That's a wrap.
Come on.
I think it's so interesting that, how, Marquita, when you talk about, your strength, and it's just so interesting how all of you all are feeling and experiencing the same thing at the same time. You know what I mean? And, when you talk about, so, for me, I recognize that there is, there's no coincidence. You know what I mean? And even though you all were not together, but you were together. You just didn't know that you all were together experiencing and feeling. And then you got your wake-up call like, man, that nigga, he wasn't there for us either. I can only imagine how Aaliyah said it.
I was probably nice about it.
Depends on what was going on. But I feel like that the process of healing. Let's move away. Let's move away from healing, right? Because I remember in the scripture when Jesus asked the man at the pool of Bethesda, he said, "Man, you want to be made whole?" He never asked him about healing, because healing is for a condition in one area, possibly, but being made whole encompasses the entire you.
Yeah.
It's like his whole mental had to change from being in that situation for years. And his excuse was, I don't have anybody to put me in the pool when the angel come, right, to stir the waters. And that's what I hear you saying, still, I don't have anybody. Because you said, I got to be strong for everybody. But then, who do you run? Who do you talk to? And you just shared with them, like, I got some stuff I need to unload too. You know what I mean? So, it's not that you don't have anybody, because that was my whole. And when I hear you all talk, I hear me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I always been this independent. I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna get out how I live. You know what I mean? I ain't dependent on nobody. Even when I was in there, qualifying for a program, I always had something in my hand because I ain't want to ask the dope boy. You know what I mean? I asked, I'm gonna steal it from you. You know what I mean? That type thing. No, seriously though. You know what I mean? I'm always. That's who I am. That's my makeup. You know what I mean? I gotta be strong. You know what I mean? But I was being strong for the wrong reasons. But we say that we don't have anybody because we feel as though that other people will judge us based on the information that we give them, right? So it's not that you don't have anybody, it's just choosing the right person, you know what I mean, where you're comfortable and you don't feel judged in the process. Because a lot of people, when you give them information, they ain't already got a preconceived notion or idea of how they want to respond to it. You know what I mean? They already got this idea. But when we talk about family situation, I should be able to talk, like I'm gonna talk anyway. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna need to say, then you're gonna say what you need to say to me. But it should be a situation where I should be able to tell Raquel or tell Marquila, man, this is how I feel. This is what's going on. I'm your father, but still, this is how I feel. What you said, what you did. You should be able to tell me the same thing without hesitation and reservation. You know what I mean? About how I affected you, what's going on with you, and so it's just so interesting that God brought you all together. You know what I mean? With me being in my right mind, right? Right. And so I think it's time to wrap it up.
Yeah.
I think it's time to put it all. Man,
This is a really good one today.
Yeah, it really was. I want to make sure to reiterate, since we, wrapping up everything, that I'm happy that, whoever's watching has got to see this other side too.
Yeah.
You got to see the division that having our father being incarcerated caused. Like, this is a whole different dynamic of what it looks like in our shoes. And we are able to come together and talk about these things. Some of these things we never heard our older sister say. And she never heard none of us say this. And so we were just out here not knowing how each other was feeling. You know what I mean? So I'm happy you all got to see, this play out, to see that this is actually possible. Even if you have a sibling, or siblings, that you don't really talk to, due to the absence of a parent or something like that. So I'm really, really, really happy that Marquila got to come here.
Yes, me too.
I am too.
Right. Well, last words, Jamila, real quick.
Well, let's all work on, opening up and allowing each other to create that bond and have these nice, beautiful conversations.
Yes, and y'all will get to see how it's working out next time, because we're getting ready to do some things, y'all. I can see it all in our future.
Right. Queen, last words.
Say it again.
Last words.
I feel like this was much needed, and I'm very, very thankful that I actually got to talk about, my feelings, and I feel like we got a whole lot more to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would love to be back on with you guys.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
All right, y'all. Peace
Thank
and
you.
blessings. One life, one love, one God. Stay tuned,
Love
y'all.
you, Love you, Queen.
See you, baby.
Love y'all too.